Hi everyone, welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Dragon Ball Z S.H.Figuarts Super Saiyan Vegeta. Now this is on a newer body mold. We have had this, costume of Vegeta before. We've actually had it a couple of times. So the original figure I don't have, but I do have the premium format version, which is basically a recolored edition. As you can see, he's got kind of metallic-ish looking hair, which really shines and it's awesome on a display, which, as you can see, there is already some big differences between the colour schemes of the two. The colour scheme of this is kind of in between the first release and then this, because the first release was a much lighter blue on the costume and then much lighter blonde in the hair as well. It was kind of white with stuff on it. So this is kind of in between the two and should be pretty much perfect in terms of the body mold and in terms of the colour of the hair and skin tone, etc. But we'll go ahead and take a closer look at those two in a second. On the back of the box here you can see some of the poses that you can get the guy in, and also you can see Super Saiyan Trunks there as well, which I also have, so that review will be coming soon. Let's go ahead and get this thing open anyway and take a closer look. Now here we have all of the accessories. So we have the main figure right there, and so we have just the kind of standard face on him. Then we have a slightly smirking face, we have an angry face, and then an angry looking to the side face. We have the crossed arms, which I do not believe that the premium figure in the original one actually came with. The Vegeta, like the same Vegeta, just like with the tail and stuff, and the Scouter, that came with crossed arms, but I don't believe that this guy right here actually came with them. And so we have a pair of fists, we have some open hands, we have some kind of stylized open hands. You can see that the fingers are in a slightly different pose. They're more like that as opposed to being like that. And then we have a thumbs up, which is pretty sweet, or a thumbs down, however you choose to use that. And then we have some open blast hands. So not a ton of accessories in the way of like having a stand or some blast effects or anything, but in terms of just a really cool Vegeta figure, we have a nice bunch there. So let's go ahead and take the figure out and have a closer look. And here we have the figure out of the packaging on the left, and then on the right is the older figure. Now, size-wise, this guy reaches just about 6¼ inches tall to the tip of the hair. The older one is about 6 inches, so it's about a quarter of an inch, maybe just over. So another thing, just looking at him, you can tell he does look a little bit more muscular. You can kind of see here in the thighs especially how they're much more, muscular when we get to the top. And also just the boots looking a little bit wider there and stuff like that. You can also see that we have the lines molded in really nicely on the tips of those boots, where that's not there over here. And we also have this horrible kind of looking little hinge there, which you cannot see on the new one. So that's fantastic. So coming in closer, you can see the comparison. Obviously, you might not consider this as being super accurate here. However, if you want to decide between the two figures, you can get a good glimpse of how they look together right here. So you can see that the lines under the eyes are a bit less apparent, in case you didn't like those on this figure. I know some people don't like them at all, but we have some more detailing on the eyebrow there, and then some better shading on the top of the eyes there as well, which just really look awesome. The green in the eyes is a little bit lighter. Overall, it's fantastic. You get less gapping around the neck, as you can see there, which looks so much better. The hair looks really nice. We have some even more molding in the hair now, and it's much more full and a bit bigger. Really fantastic. You can still see it's got the same general look. The spikes are still in the same places because obviously it's still Vegeta's hair. It's still got to be accurate to the character. Before we take a look at the body, we've got to go ahead and remove these crossed arms. So they go ahead and just pull right out, and then we can take these arms and put them back in. So that just kind of shows you how easy it is to go ahead and change those out. So you can see here that in the shoulders, we have much more kind of muscular, bolder shoulders, which is just more accurate to how he would look, instead of them just being really kind of flat right there. And then we have in the torso a much bigger upper torso. We obviously have this line right here which breaks it up, but that's for the articulation. On the blue itself, you can see that both of them do have shading. This has some more darker shading on it, so this is already a kind of darker blue. It kind of has some sort of darker blue and some kind of purple in there. This has some kind of purple in it as well, but it has some more kind of pretty much black shading as well in some places. And then coming down to the boots, you can see the color difference in the tips right there. Now, in terms of differences in articulation, this guy has this one joint which kind of pulls up and collapses down, so it's a double ball peg, and it rotates just at that point, and that's the amount of articulation you can get from it. And this guy actually has a joint down here. As you can see, there's a ball peg and a hinge, So that allows that to move forward and back down there, as well as rotate left and right. And then up here we have another ball hinge, so we can move left and right, forward and back, and pivot side to side. So when you do get him to crunch, it looks a bit more natural because he's moving at 2 points, you know, a lot more like a human body does. So it's a lot more natural in its movement. You get pretty much the same range, but it's just a lot more natural looking. In the legs here, these could go pretty much all the way out to the side, but then you do get some gapping in some areas. With this one, we have this kind of covering piece in here which stops that gapping from happening. However, you can't really get it moving out as far as you could with that guy. So that is a bit of a shame. So anyway, carrying on in the head, it goes up and down, left and right, side to side, and then the neck moves around as well. I do believe you're getting a little bit more articulation out of this guy. You got a kind of butterfly sort of joint in there. It's kind of a ball inside as well. So you get your rotation, and then the hinge coming out, rotation all the way around. Really nice movement in there. Rotation right there, double jointed elbow, and then the fist is on a ball peg and a hinge, just like the older figure. So we've already seen the chest, the legs just move forward and back and out to the side and rotate the upper part of the thigh. Now down here at the feet, you can see this kind of double ball peg down here, which moves a lot. But then when you put the foot on, which I'll do right now, there we go, you can see that you can get it moving quite far forward, but not all that far really back. You can't get a really nice flight pose of the feet coming straight down, but it's still really nice in comparison to what we used to have. Rotation right there and a bit of ankle pivot as well, and obviously we have the toe hinge in there as well. So with these two figures, they have pretty much the same articulation and the same accessories, pretty much. But obviously, you are getting the folded arms with this newer one, and the body mold is just a lot more muscular and just looks a lot more accurate, really. Especially just in the hip area and the shoulder area, it just looks much better. And honestly, just having that slightly bigger torso with that armor on there looks a bit better as well. This kind of looks like it's just absolutely so tight around his waist. That looks a lot better. So I definitely do like the new one for proportions a hell of a lot more. Articulation is pretty much the same, and the color schemes, you know, they're obviously different anyway. So I definitely do recommend this older figure though, and if you can get it cheaper than this one, I mean, that might be pretty much the same price right now. I'm not really too sure. If you could, for some reason, get this one cheaper, then go ahead, by all means. It's still a great figure, but I'd definitely go ahead and recommend this one over the older one. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. Remember, I'm going to be reviewing Trunks soon as well. For more pictures of other stuff from my collection, check out my Instagram. It's Homerino123, and the link is in the description below. And for more S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Z reviews, go ahead and subscribe. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.